Okay, the very last thing you want to know is, does David pee in the biochar? I knew it. I knew that's what you were thinking. You think that old man pees in the biochar? Well, good morning everyone. Dave Nichols here. I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. We had a lot of family over and ate way too much and just had a great day. Today's turned out to be a beautiful day as well. It's a pretty fall day. It's not very cold. I'm kind of surprised, you know, doing this far into December. It's amazing that it's not. I always thought it'd been a lot colder, but I guess we just need to stand by because it's probably going to get here. I have been talking to you about biochar for quite some time, and but I just done little bitty bits and pieces of it. I really never got into it, and I don't know that it really went over well because I didn't give enough time to it. So I'm going to try to spend a little more time here today and talk to you about biochar. I think biochar is a really good thing for your garden, and you know, everybody has a certain thing that supercharges your garden, and everybody's got this special, this whatever and whatever, but mine, I believe that biochar is one of those products that will do that. It may not hit it fast and heavy the first year, but the second year and the years after that, it seems to do really, really well. But biochar, I'm out here in the woods right now, and I wanted to explain to you that in nature, God allows these wilderness areas to burn sometimes. And when they burn, then you have all kinds of charcoal and things like this that is left behind. And you know, when you get a fire like that, you get erosion, and erosion takes place to some degree. Nutrition, minerals, things like that are moved around, and then all this charcoal is left behind. And if you'll look at that charcoal, I'm here in the sun. I'm going to spend a little time. I'm hoping you can see it. It's hard for me to tell in this camera what it's doing and what it's not doing, but there's just thousands and thousands of little crevices and places like that in there, little cracks and lines and things like that in all of this charcoal. And what happens is, when that charcoal sits on the ground like that, it actually starts, like this one here, it actually starts absorbing the nutrition around it. And you can see here, see, it's went back in the cracks. You can see the nutrition that's already in this particular piece. But when it's sitting on the ground in nature like that, all the minerals from the ground start going into it, nitrogen, all those things, you know, any kind of mineral, iron, whatever, magnesiums, all these different kinds of nutrition actually gets bound up inside of this charcoal. And when it gets bound up in it, then this ends up being like and you can see that one there, you can see it even glistening, because I probably had a product that had a little salt in it, and you can see it there, you know, see it glistening. But it's like a sponge, so it holds on to all these products. So what I simply done was I got some charcoal, and for me that was the easiest thing to do. Then make my own. I can make my own. I've got plenty of wood now, for sure I could do it. I just don't like to burn all the time, don't like to do that a lot. But when I do, you know, of course I'll make my own as well. But you can go buy this at any box store and get you some real lump charcoal. It's what you want. You don't want the little bitty things that have fuel in them. You don't want that. And then I take and I put them in a bucket like this one. Now this bucket here's got holes in it because I used it for draining. But I'll get a bucket like this, and I'll pour all my charcoal down into the bucket. And then I start adding all kinds of nutrition. Now here's the fun part. When I was a kid, I used to take all kinds of sauces and things like that and make up some kind of concoction that looked absolutely horrible, mustard and this and whatever. And I would try to make people in my family take a bite of it. You know, I can't help it. I'm a redhead, so we were ornery. But anyway, they usually didn't take me up on it. Sometimes my sister would be silly enough to take a bite. But anyway, I used to like to mix things anyway. This is my nature to kind of goof around with stuff. And so the good thing about this is, when you get the biochar, when you get the charcoal put in a bucket like this, it's full of water, then you can take and start adding all kinds of different products to it, because you're not going to hurt it in any way. Remember, it's just a sponge. It's just going to hold on to it. It's not going to really change your soil or, you know, make it pH off or anything like that. So I'll start putting things in to see this will give you magnesium, and I just different things I start putting in with it and let it break down. See, this here is just an all-purpose Miracle Grow, so all the nutritions that's in it will be also transferred into the sponge or into, you know, and it says here it's got all kinds of things: boron, copper, iron, magnesium. It's got, you know, I'll take bone meal. I'll take bone meal, put bone meal in there, and you get a lot of calcium that way. Plus, you get a little nitrogen as well. You know, I just, anything I could get my hands on, or if I think about it, that's the whole thing about it. That's what makes it fun, is thinking about it. See, here's some iron. I put a little iron in there, you know, and you know, iron always makes your plants have a greener look to them. I'll take organic stuff and put it in it. I'll take urea, and I'll put urea in it. Everybody says, well, what are you doing? And I'll talk to you about that later. But see, folks, this right here is 100% urea. And all that is diesel exhaust. And I'm going to let you read it so you know I'm not pulling your leg. I'm going to get it up there. What does it say? It says ingredients. Water. It's got mostly water. And it's got urea. Urea, which is a fertilizer, which is a nitrogen. So I put a little bit of that in there as well. And so anything I can anything just hits me, I think, man, I'm gonna put that in there, because I know it's going back to the earth anyway. So I'm not really changing the profile or did anything to hurt it. If I've got rock dust, you know, crusher dust, and I'm a contractor, so I get into that sometimes. I got crusher dust. Sometimes I'll throw crusher dust in there, a little bit of it. Just whenever I get a wild hair to put in there, you know, lime. Sometimes I'll throw a little lime in there. Just whatever I just get a wild hair, what I want, just something I want to put in there, I will put in it. I have put milk in it. I put tea in it. I put coffee in it. I've just done everything you can think of, because in theory, if you want to think of it this way, all it is doing, the only thing it's doing, is acting like a sponge, and it's taking up all that nutrition, that wonderful nutrition. And what happens is, when you put it in your soil, and I'm going to show that here in a little bit, when you put it in your soil, then the roots and things start going to it, or the fungal, the mycorrhizal fungi will go to it, and it will start borrowing those nutrition pieces from it. Now, lots of people grind this up, or they put it on a tilled garden, they till it in. I do not understand that. If somebody smarter than me can explain it to me and say that, you know, that's the best way to do it, I'll sure listen. I mean, I didn't get this far without listening to somebody, because I had a grandmother that loved to grow, and I've just learned things over the years, you know, and she was just fantastic. I wish I knew just a little bit of what she knew. But to me, I would think you very much need to leave this in a larger piece. That way it will be that sponge that holds on. And you can see, just look at that. I mean, it's got every crevice you can think of, and it holds on to those products. So I'm going to continue on here if you'll stay with me, and I'll tell you what else I do with it. Thank you. Okay, we're back up here again. I want to get a piece of charcoal. But before we get into the next step that I want to talk to you about how to make it, I want to show you these crazy birds. You know, I told you the story about the birds. We call them the birds. So I don't know what else to call them. But say hello, guys. What are you doing? You guys taking it easy? Are you taking a break? Huh? Are you just taking a break today? Yeah, it looks like you guys are being lazy. Did you see all that poop on top of that trailer? Those guys are, I tell you what goes in one way comes out another. I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. But anyway, when I do the biochar, I come over here, and I'm going to show you my bucket that's got the water in it. And I know exactly what you're thinking. I know what you're going to say. Isn't that the nastiest looking stuff you ever seen? Yeah, you think it's one thing, but the truth is it's another. That's coffee and tea in there, and water. But anyway, I take that charcoal, and I just simply stick it into this bucket, and I add my nutrients that I talked to you about a while ago: urea, even organic fertilizers. I've got some over there, and I just start putting it in there, and I let it sit there and let it cook for a long time, and just let it just stay there. And as it's you know, doing its thing, it breaks down and goes into the charcoal. And then And then I take it to the garden. But I know there's a question you still have about all this, and I'm not going to tell you right now. I won't tell you till the end, and then get that question answered. And I already know what it is. I know what you're thinking. I know how you folks are. Yeah, I know. But see, even natural things, I put it in there. I think just about whatever you can think of, you can pour in there. I've even poured milk in there before, so I knew it would have some calcium and probably have a little bacteria. You know, I don't know if the bacteria would live until you put it on the garden, but you know, I just use whatever I've got available. And see, the thing is, we as Americans, we throw away so much stuff anyway. It's unbelievable, and I don't know why we can't just reuse it and repurpose it. I'm going to take you down to the garden and show you how I apply this into the garden, so hang with me. Alright, back with me now. Most of my gardens right now are put away for the winter time. So a lot of them are covered up. I don't leave my gardens uncovered. I leave them covered with some kind of covering. But I've got a little bitty spot here in one of these little raised gardens. And you see my little strawberries. I need to come in here and take some of the grass out, and I need to thin them out to get too thick in here, the strawberries. But I've got a little spot right here that's somewhat put away. Normally I would take some of this wood chips and pull it back before I applied this, but I'm going to give you an idea. I just go in here and lay it in. It doesn't take a lot of it to get an area covered. I mean, you don't have to just thickly cover it, you just got to put some in there. I would have put a little bit more than that, but you just put the biochar in there, and then I come back with compost, and I pour compost, you know, heavily over it, at least a couple 3 inches of compost on top of that, and I leave it alone. I don't till it in or anything like that. I just let it sit there, and as it sits there, you know, it will leach some of the product that's in it out. Normally, you know, I mean, water would cause the leaching effect. But what you don't understand is those plants, when they need something, they'll put out a signal or a sign to the fungi and the different organisms in there, and even the, you know, the organisms that are alive that are all in the soil, and they will seek out the nutrition that plant needs. So if that plant's needing iron or more nitrogen, it's going to seek out, you know, those other things will seek it out. And its root system has all those little hairs too, so they will seek out what it needs. And when it seeks it out, if there's nitrogen in that biochar, then it will find it and pull it to the plant. So that's how it works. So you don't have to just cover it with this, and I would never do that. That would be probably too much. But just get a nice little covering, and then take, like I say, compost, and put compost on top of it. So not wood chips. Wood chips is just right now, I've got it on here just to relax the garden during the winter and let it be protected. You know, it's why it's on here right now. But that's how I do it. And then with that compost in there, then you're going to have a fantastic garden. You can grow about anything. You know, you don't have to go woody products or fungal dominant or anything. It'll grow just about anything. So I've got one more thing I want to show you. Okay, the very last thing you want to know is, does David pee in the biochar? I knew it. I knew that's what you were thinking. You think that old man pees in the biochar? Well, I hate to tell you, you got me on that one. Yes, from time to time I pee in the biochar. Well, you already know it. I already told you I like to mix up junk, so you know, just have to look over that. But that's urea, folks. I mean, that's just, it's got all kinds of minerals and things like that in it. People have this phobia. We don't even understand. We don't understand how nature works. So many people don't get it, you know. I mean, when you go to cattle and you use cattle manure, you're using their urine, their feces. All these animals produce it. That's what I was telling you about the crazy birds a while ago. They produce it, you know. So why not utilize it and build the earth? And if you think about it, that's the way they used to. You know, all the migrant animals that migrated, they would fertilize areas. Hooved animals did. And that's the way it would work. And then mosquitoes and pests would come along and bite them and push them onto another location and into another location. And what they would do is everywhere they went, they fertilized the land. So all you're doing is just fertilizing it back. So you know, if you don't want to do that, it's fine. I told you how you could get urea. I showed you how you could do it and how we do it. And yes, I put that product in there. And yeah, I pee in it from time to time. My next little problem is this. I've got about $40 in this, and I really don't know what to charge for it. To me, it's like black gold. It's very important. I know what it can do for a garden. So I'm trying to think, should I double my money? Should I say, okay, instead of saying $80, what if I just said $70 for this here? That's quite a bit. I showed you don't have to put much on a small area. It, you know, it goes a long ways. This would not do a huge garden, but it would definitely do a raised garden easily do a raised garden. And I showed you how you could do it. But if people wanted a lot, if they had large gardens like I do, you know, you're going to be producing quite a bit, and I am. I'm just going to keep producing it, and if it doesn't sell, I put it out there on my gardens, you know. But I'm guessing around $70 is what I'm thinking. I think that'd be super fair, and I've already put quite a bit of labor into it. So anyway, I don't know what to do, folks. God bless you. I've truly enjoyed you, and yeah, I peed in the biochar. I'm sorry. Catch you later. Bye-bye.